in the data, you can see when a customer is online, exactly what they're doing, how they're interacting with the product,
The
what
heat
they're
maps,
reading.
I guess, right?
You can see everything. But I think the next level is connecting that information to what the customer is doing offline, right? And bringing those two, again, that concept of convergence and bringing that all together.
Hey guys, this is Patel, CEO of International Bulk Wine and Spirits Show and Beverage Trade Network. We are live from San Francisco here, day 2 at the IBWSS show. I have Jessica here with me, expert of e-commerce. She's been playing this game many years ago before we even, have started saying this word. So Jessica leads the strategy at Vintage Wine Estates. Big company, big portfolio with the goal of direct to consumer sales, I believe, right?
Yes.
So let's touch base on the current trends.
Sure.
And 2024, what are you seeing? How are you playing with AI? What are you seeing in omni-commerce and where you see things?
Sure. So, I would say, first of all, I know AI is a big buzzword right now. We've been doing AI for a long time.
Wow.
Metadata frameworks, the recommendation of a product, that is AI. So it's something we've been doing for a while. It's just going to the next level. And so we're gonna definitely see that infiltrate everything in e-commerce.
Nice.
So more personalization, more guided journeys, more specificity when you go onto a website. So if you're seeing a trend on Amazon where you're logging in and you're seeing all of these products that you have maybe thought about before, but just kind of lost it in your brain, you're like, oh, I totally forgot, but it's right here. That's essentially what you're gonna see next in general e-commerce. E-commerce in general has slowed down compared to obviously COVID. Post-COVID world, it's still maintaining, but we're seeing a slowdown, which is very natural with what we're seeing in the physical space. We're actually seeing this really beautiful convergence between the physical and the digital. So during COVID, we could only do e-commerce, we could only go online. And now we have both. We have the luxury of both and we have the behavior of both. And so what we're really beginning to see is that world come together. A customer goes to a store and they talk to an associate and they say, hey, can I find this on your website? And the associate's job is to guide the customer in that experience in the physical store and vice versa. So we're seeing a lot of that. We're seeing AI obviously in customer service online.
Give me some examples of what you guys are using or where you see AI can be applied.
Chatbots. When you are you're on a website and you want to ask, hey, when will this package deliver, right? The response is actually an AI response. It's actually not a real person. Because what we do is we have all of these scenarios that we put into the back end and we essentially anticipate.
So you're asking for some data like your order ID and then you're giving them the answer. So the bot is checking the tracking.
It's all automated in the back end. So kind of like when you're on United.com and you're talking
very nice.
to the customer service person online in that little chatbot, it's that level of sophistication. And there are products that are very accessible through Shopify, through, kind of the, I would say bread and butter e-commerce platforms out there that make it super easy for really suppliers of any size to get into the game, One
of our session was on AI and I just came to know that brands like, let's say Heineken did one study where they were reading facial expressions of people when they were buying, right? And then they were twisting the logo and then they came to the final logo, which brought joy and purchases. So I'm sure being the size of the company, what are you playing with in reading consumer data and how are you applying that to come up with a solution?
Those are that's super advanced, crazy retail shelf stuff going on. We obviously are doing the traditional, kind of learnings, insights. In the data, you can see when a customer is online, exactly what they're doing, how they're interacting with the product,
what heat
they're
maps,
reading.
I guess, right?
You can see everything. But I think the next level is connecting that information to what the customer is doing offline, right? And bringing those two, again, that concept of convergence and bringing that all together. I definitely think that the universe Very much so. I don't know if you've ever watched Minority Report with Tom Cruise many years ago. And there was this ad in a bus shelter about a Lexus. And the Lexus ad noticed who he was through the eye recognition. And it said, "Hey, Mr. Smith, today a Lexus is ready for you in the bus shelter." So that is really where we are headed.
Understood. On particularly your role, right?
Yes.
Like your role is evolving because your play field is evolving.
Yeah.
What does the new KPI look like? What's your personal goal in your company for the next 12 months?
I mean, I would say for me, it is not so much about the growth of direct to consumer, but it's really about again, going back to the convergence. And so the idea of digital transformation in our organization is a workflow. It is about operational efficiency. It is about providing technology to our employees that make life easier, that connect them to our vendors, that connect them to our customers in a way that is super seamless and easy. It is not just the information and the technology that we're putting outside to a customer that we want to buy from us online, but it's within the organization and outside the organization.
Agreed. So your goal is to increase efficiencies, do more with less, put systems more and more automation, train people, I guess, to use the systems.
To make it easy, right? I mean, how many times have you worked in an organization and you're like, what? Like, how am I supposed to use this? So how do we? And you find that a lot of people don't use as much technology as a company is providing. And
our case is the same. We have.
And it's a big. It is a big issue. And so, I would say, in conclusion, one thing that we all need to think about as organizations within our industry, within adult beverage, is not just about e-commerce and direct to consumer, but how we are going to digitally enable ourselves to compete.
That's true.
Because every customer, the numbers are out there, by 2032, pretty much 90% of the world is going to be consuming some information online. And so we need to be ready. And so that's really kind of where.
Great. I respect everything that you've been doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.